Welcome to the podcast, Louise. I'm so excited to have you and your beautiful energy on here to share with us. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do with your life?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm Louise. I live in Australia. Um, I guess my background, I've always worked in regulatory roles. I quite enjoy that. Um, Enjoy the sort of like super sleuth energy, finding things out, seeing trends, seeing patterns, that type of thing. Um, I am child free by choice. I have a dog, so I am a fur mum. Um, this is relevant because she's going to teach me things, and we'll talk about this as this podcast goes on. Um, but yeah, I am in a relationship, committed relationship. Found some perhaps there was some issues in communication, which is what led me to release. And what opened up because of that was just phenomenal.
Amazing. I love this and I love where you're at now. So, we're going to move through where you were before and where you're at now. And I know it's just going to continue to evolve for you. So, I'd
Yeah.
love to know how and who recommended you to come into Relief.
Uh, Such a fun journey getting here. So I was transitioning between work and I worked with a beautiful woman called Vanessa, who's one of your clients. And my farewell gift from that place of employment was your book. And I had it sat on my bedside table for quite some time with the intention to read it. And for some reason, I never prioritized it. And then Vanessa slid into my DMs with a, hey, release is coming up. This is the woman who wrote the book I gave to you. You know, leaving this with you, sit with it, see if it feels right. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. And I think there was like a free thing, the space, maybe. I don't know. There was a thing. There was something, there was a little trial. And I was like, yeah, okay, I really like this. This is
Oh, I think it must have
good.
been the filter. I did like this 5-day experience off the back of coming, home from Canada.
Yes. So I think that was my first exposure to you and what you teach. And then release came up, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this. There's a cost involved. And I was like, okay, cool. Sat with that. I'm like, how am I going to make this work? I just started a new job. I think it was about 6 weeks into the new job. Really enjoying it. Definitely felt aligned value wise. And I just remember thinking, you know what? I'm going to do it and I'll make it work. It'll happen. Like the universe is going to do something and it'll work. And then I think it was my first, or maybe it was the last call on like a Tuesday or something. I was about to take my dog to the vet. She was unwell. And I got a phone call from my boss. I'd only been there 6 weeks. And she says, look, we've got this opportunity to act at a higher level. You'll get paid more. It's for, I think it was like 6 weeks at that point. And the pay increase was exactly the cost of release. And I was like, holy hell, look at what happens when you make a commitment. You're very clear in what you want. And it just kind of happens. Like,
Yeah,
I had
I
no
love
idea.
I love that story, and I often say to people, things start to change in your life from the moment you say yes before we even dive into the course because, yeah, we hadn't even started just yet. And I love hearing people's hesitation, like what held you back? And I usually say time and money are people's biggest objections. And we don't promise that everyone's going to like land magic money, but you have landed a lot of magic money. We've got a few stories like this on the podcast. But of course, your life has opened up in so many other areas. And I'm just so grateful to Vanessa. I'll say that we do have a podcast with Vanessa. It's called Being Curious with Vanessa. I'll link it into the show notes. And I love how she just shared it with you because I said, yeah, recommend one of my free things or send them my book, Healing Beyond the Diagnosis. But if they don't read it, that's up to them. Did you ever read it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I signed up to the free thing. I was like, read the damn book, Louise. Like, just read it. And honestly, I couldn't put it down. I was
Oh,
like,
great.
"And then what happens next?" Oh my god, and all the stories that are, like, woven in. I was like, far out. You learn and you see so much, and you see so much of you in the stories, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I can relate to this and this and this and this."
Well,
It's
that's
beautiful.
so interesting because you didn't actually come in with a chronic illness or a complex health condition, and I love that you still felt called to process your emotions. So, why do you think Vanessa suggested for you to do release, or what were the things and feelings that you were navigating that made you think maybe it would be valuable for me to learn how to process my emotions?
Yeah, I would love to ask Vanessa what her perspective is on why she invited me, but I went through a pretty traumatic, awful experience at my previous workplace. Really cruddy culture, not at all value aligned. Definitely felt so stuck, so frustrated, so unheard. It was pretty repugnant. Um, and I wonder whether she's given me this book as an opportunity to stop and reflect. And one of the biggest things I have learnt from this is about communication and the two-way communication. And I think that sort of recurring pattern in your book is what stood out to me. Definitely not the pain story. Like, I've not had, massive physical trauma in my life. I'm pretty healthy. Um, yeah, I'm pretty lucky in that respect. But I think it was communication, this frustration, stuckness, and just like, ugh,
Yeah.
that.
Well, I love that because I would really love to reach people who aren't necessarily at this health crisis point because it is harder to deal with your emotions when, not impossible though, but it's a little bit more challenging if you've got high amounts of pain in health or in other areas of your life. And something that I remember really acknowledging you for is your willingness to take responsibility of the part you had to play in why you were attracting these experiences because everything's for us. Can I ask you was your what was your experience of actually learning the verbal dialogue part of the release process? Was it easy for you or yeah, how did that go? Because I can't actually remember our interactions back then.
I know it feels so long ago. So I remember feeling like, as a process, it looked so easy and so simple. And I was
Mm.
like, oh, this is like so doable. Look at me go. And funnily enough, I kept getting feedback like, you've missed this bit. You need to try this bit. You need to do this. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm
Yeah.
following the cheat sheet. Like, what is this? And lo and behold, it was that I wasn't listening. And, so much of what you speak of, Jin, is about, you know, you can ask for what you need, but not have expectation tied to that. And I think what I saw in myself was I was always geared up for the response and prepared for the next,
For the
you know,
fight?
yes. And in that, I'm not listening to what's coming in because I'm like, well, if this happens, I'm going to say that. If this happens, I'll say that, which is definitely not constructive way to communicate. And
Mm.
that's played out in various facets of my life. And it's so amazing to see that happening in a work context, in a relationship context, in a family context. So it's that's probably the biggest eye opener for release. And once I nailed that,
Mm.
far out, the release process is so easy and so quick. And I
Yeah.
think I definitely had a tendency to like do the stack on in my first few releases, like, and another thing, you suck,
Yeah.
and another thing.
I know. I say people get so excited when all of a sudden there's this space to let your emotions go and to be experienced and to be felt. And then there's like too much, too much in there. So I just keep
Yeah,
it simple, guys, like stupidly simple. Like the human
yeah,
wants to get in and make it complicated. So I love that you shared that it looks so simple and it looks so easy. And there's a version of it in my book where we can release on people. There's other ways that you can see that basic version, but it's receiving the feedback and sometimes that vulnerability of actually you're someone who does things really well, but this one we need to tweak it. So in the first couple of weeks, whenever I'm giving those people support, I say you've got to be someone who can come in and receive critical feedback. It comes from a place of love and compassion. But if you're willing to see this, honestly, your communication and everything in your life will change. And yeah, you're just an absolute model for that. Was it hard for you to receive the feedback that you weren't quite getting it?
Um, no, I don't think so. I think it was like I could not see, and I'm someone that sees patterns in things. Like, I could not see and join. And I think I was in such a emotional, like, unprocessed, unregulated state. It's like they're taking the time to read and listen to what's been written. Like, so in my communication style, and I think in my reading, I wasn't hearing and listening. So I was like, I just want to get it right. I want to get it done. Let's move through this. Let's on to the next one. Let's get this beautiful release happening. And I
Yeah,
think that's what it was. And once I finally stopped and went, it is always the same spot. It's always the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even now, so you're coming into your second round of release that we're in at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of the time, like, "Whoa," like, actually, you and Vanessa just so concise, and I'm like, "Everyone, this is like a model of a release. This is what it needs to look like, short and sharp and snappy." And for, actually both of you, it just feels like you're not dealing with so much stuff from the past, but more just present day things so that you're not storing these new emotional experiences inside of your body, and you're able to get clarity and insight as to how to move forwards. Um
Yeah.
so, do you feel like that was your message that came through and through the coaching was more around, hey, your communication and your listening needs to be
Mhm.
worked on? And then actually, we got to work on that in release and you got to practice it. And then tell me how some conversations went.
Yeah. So I think I remember saying I need to work on my communication because I don't think I'm clear in expressing what I want. And it certainly wasn't that, I don't think. I think it was that I was not listening to what was coming back. It wasn't meeting my expectations. So I was getting so annoyed and frustrated and pissed off about that. Um, but we have, so some of the conversations I've had with my partner around, I guess, our life, our future, our goals and values, those conversations have certainly been made so much easier by release. And that's because I'm not going into this conversation pissed off with this like months worth of pent up frustration of, I want this and you're not doing this. So why aren't you doing this? It's because, I don't know, whatever various reasons I form in my head for,
Mm,
you don't care, you're an idiot, whatever.
mm,
And as much, I think what I needed to learn through the first few conversations is that just because you have the verbal dialogue in person, again, don't go into it expecting that all your needs are met. You throw it out there, you hope for the best, but you've done what you can, and now it's out. Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like it ties in with you talking about your previous job experience where values weren't aligned. And then people are very firm about this is my boundary. And
Mhm.
I often hear people talk about disappointment. And so I think that disappointment comes from expectations not met. And I
Mhm.
think the beauty of this work is that you can request your needs, but without expectation. And if they aren't met, then that leads you to the next step. And so, is it that expectations aren't being met, or is it actually that your values don't align within your job, your workplace, and also your relationship? So, I feel like people get it a little bit mixed up. Is it values or is it expectations? And
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel like from the previous job experience, you know now how values weren't aligned. So, you got to get really clear about your values and how you want to operate in a workplace and have them, meet your needs in that way. So, while we're on the work topic a little bit, what ended up opening up for you? And I do wanna come back to Callie the dog as well. But just while we're on this thread,
Yeah.
as you, because I say it's about releasing, processing your emotions, and then you create more space to receive opportunities beyond what you thought possible. So, what continued to happen with your work?
Yeah. Never in my wildest dreams did I think what would what happened could ever be. So when I was leaving the old workplace, I applied for a bunch of jobs. I was interviewed for a executive level one position with this employer. Um, didn't get that, but got offered like the level below. Took it. Was like amazing, great, get me out of here. Um, 6 weeks into that, got offered the acting role for the position that I really wanted. I was like, wow, okay, cool. It was 6 weeks, just like a defined period backfill type arrangement that ended up growing into, I think it was like 6 months or something like that. And I was like, holy hell. Like, and that was a significant pay increase. So that was like the equivalent of $12,000 a year of salary jump. I was like, holy heck.
I remember you
Fuck.
celebrating all of this in the group, and it's like, "What?"
I know. I'm like, how does this happen? Like, I've been with this organization for 6 weeks, and I think it was like maybe 12 weeks at that point. I was like, far out. Like, I don't know this subject matter. It's a new topic, still regulatory, but a new subject matter that I don't really have experience in. And I thought, wow, how beautiful to come in to an agency where their values of like integrity, trust, accountability is so aligned with mine. And I'm having these opportunities to just shine. But I also think all my pissed off energy and that energy I've released.
Mm.
So there is space to show up as myself and shine. So fast forward a wee little bit and I got made ongoing in my role. And when I received my contract offer, my boss said to me, do not accept the lowest level pay. And I was like, what? Negotiate pay? I could do that? She goes, absolutely. Look at what you've done in this last 6 months. You are absolutely excelling. You are kicking goals. Ask for the top. I was like, yeah. She goes, yeah, do it. And I was sat with that and I was like, ooh. Had a conversation with my mum. She's like, ooh, is that a bit greedy?
Ah,
And
interesting.
isn't it? And I was like, okay, I was like, what would gin do? And the little like gin programming in the back of my head goes, ask what you need. No expectation. Like just put it out there. Like,
Play with it.
yeah. And I did and um asked for the top level pay, provided a justification as to why I thought that was reasonable. And they've come back and said, look, we won't give you the top increment right now, but what we'll do is give you the next one down. In I think it was like in 3 months, we've got an EB increase anyway. So that's another 4% or something. And then by June 2026, you'll be on the top increment. It's
Great.
like, oh my God, amazing. And in the back of my mind, I was also very aware that I had a large sum of money paid out to me from my old employer because I was on unpaid leave from them. It was all my leave entitlements getting paid out. It was like $45,000 after tax,
Yeah.
and which I kind of forgot about. So it
Mm.
feels like bonus money.
Crazy. Because are we talking about 60K all up Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Incredible. And it's only really been 6 months, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be about that. 7 or 8, something around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just such a
Mhm.
short period of time, and I love the unexpected side of things and just
Yeah.
how it's aligning with your values and the communication piece of, "Hey, just ask, just discuss, and
Mhm.
to have that support from your boss as well. And what I always said is, I want to know, what do people want to get paid? And if I didn't feel I could meet it now, at least I knew that that was their goal, and then what needed to happen for them to be able to receive that much. So being able to receive the feedback. But
Yeah,
that's just so cool. Ask for what you need.
and no expectation, and, I was like, no disappointment at all about not getting what I said I wanted. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, cool, awesome. How
Mm,
good."
putting it into practice.
Yeah, like,
Now,
in real life.
can I ask, because I know you've got a trip planned to Europe later on in the year.
Mhm.
Was the planning around your trip happening before all of this happened or after? Because I like to say, money wants to know that it's gonna have fun with you, you're in a relationship with it. So were you playing with this idea of your trip for yourself earlier?
Absolutely. So, this trip to Europe, I wanted to do last year and could not make that happen, and I reckon it was around the time I was leaving the old employer. I was like, "You know what? I'm doing something for me. I'm going to Europe. This is going to happen. I'm going to be there for my 40th birthday, which is in June." And I think setting the date around that, making it feel real, and researching destinations. Where am I going to go? Settled on Italy, and it become real.
Mm.
And I've not thought of this, but you're right. I think feeling like there's something fun to come, and boom.
Yeah, so cool. I wonder if it mirrors a little bit the investment of release, where you thought, "I wanna do this," or not too sure about the investment, but you made the move anyway, and then the money flowed. Is that a little
Yep.
bit like what happened? Did you, because going to Europe is not cheap, right? Did you think, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna cost this much, but I'm gonna do it anyway," because I do preach a lot, prioritize yourself, have fun, what if this is as good as it gets, make the most of it. And then, yeah, bucket loads of money just comes your way, and then we're not talking small amounts.
No, like, I absolutely think you hit the nail on the head. I after the release thing going, "I wanna do this, it'll work out," thinking of Europe and, like, my partner was saying, "That's not gonna be cheap, la-di-da-di-da." I'm like, "It'll be fine." Like, just it'll be fine. It's just this blind, not reckless, but just like this complete and utter disconnect from the mechanics of how's it gonna work? Where's it gonna come from? Do I need to do this? What do I need to do? It's just, no,
Yeah,
it's
this is
gonna
where I
happen.
say desire first, details later, but you have got the foundation of the emotional work, and you are implementing it and taking it to the next step. Because it's not well, the most powerful part is process, experience your emotions. But then once you do that, there is another step that comes in. And it's only good to talk about that when you're ready for it, right? Otherwise, it just seems like it's so big. And then we talk about the manifestation piece.
Yep,
So very
exactly.
cool. And now there was another thing that I think happened with work around promotions, and you're like, again, you'd only been in this role for a handful of months. Do you wanna share about
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, so amazing. Every year, the organization does, awards for, um, people. Your peers nominate you for, you know, different things like regulatory, stewardship, and, there's some around values, there's some around, all sorts of things. And like, I went to this award ceremony thingamajig, online, and had no idea. And when they're calling out the nominees for these awards, my name comes out, and I was like, "Hang on, what?" And I'm sure everyone online would have seen me go, because I've been here for half the year, like, not even the whole year of, when you could possibly be nominated. And I was nominated for, and I'm thinking back, it's for demonstrating values that align with the organizations and authentic leadership. I was like, holy hell. Like,
Mm,
how amazing. And to have that, to be seen, to be recognized, to be promoted, to have ongoing employment, coming from a contract. I'm like, how does all of this just land so quickly?
Mm.
Like, how amazing. Never in my wildest dreams.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you, and that's again, you didn't have this expectation. So, again, we've got a few cool stories of magic money landing, but the people who have had that never came in with that intention of, "I wanna receive money." It's just the energetic byproduct of you doing the work. It's creating the energy to receive what it is that you desire, and it all starts with the processing of emotions. And I see this meets one of those human needs of significance to actually be acknowledged. Now, I do say to people that no one will ever value you until you value yourself. And so we don't look for that external validation, but I definitely see you doing the values work. And, when we do values work, it's not necessarily around business, it's just your personal values. And if you're going to spend time at work, why don't you have your personal values integrate into your workplace? And I've always, I always loved it when I used to have a business that people could apply for work, when they applied for work outside of when I was actually advertising, because that's when I knew they were picking
Mhm.
me because they aligned with the philosophy and the values and so on, versus me thinking, "Oh, they're just applying for this because they just need a job."
That is so true.
Mm.
Far out. And, you know, reflecting back when I applied for this job, it was like Christmas time. And I was like, oh, what is this? Who knows? Like, who knows what it will be? When I got the role, I was like, I know nothing about this sector. What a great way to build some experience in this government role. It'll be what it'll be.
Yeah.
Like I had
Yeah, that's
no,
a good thing, the government role, because people in government think, "Oh, I can't ask for a pay rise," and it's all set, and it's like, well, I've got a few government people that have, like, kept
yeah,
continually gotten pay rises out of the norm.
yeah. Like
Mm.
I don't know where these self-limiting beliefs come from, but mm-mm. Happy to
Yeah.
continue to smash that one.
Yeah. And you've also been doing just your own personal joy thing, like, what's the thing that you do outside of work?
Uh, how do you mean?
I only know the abbreviations, RAAF.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah. So, yeah, I am a Defence Force reservist. I love that. Have been doing that for like 5 or 6 years now, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to do something completely different, but still work in a way that is value aligned and where you get recognition. Like, I don't know, I've been with Defence this long, and I reckon it was last year I went away on a training thing, and the people in charge of the training sent an email to my boss in that world afterwards and just said it was such an privilege to have Louise on board, great team player, solid leadership skills, pitched in, shared thoughts, experiences, knowledge. Would love to have her anytime. I was like,
Mm,
what? I never knew this was a thing that you guys do this. Like,
yeah.
how amazing to be seen in so many different lenses, you know?
I love how you say "to be seen." Before I go into that, what does RAAF stand for?
Oh, that's the Royal Australian Air Force.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool that you do that, I love it, and that you make time, and 'cause people often go into a job and then think, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to ask for my hobby time," etcetera. It's like, you just gotta ask.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just got to ask. And they are wonderful. Like, my normal civvy employer is so supportive, so encouraging in every facet. Like, it's almost like the perfect job and the perfect workplace because every single way in which I felt my needs were unmet or my values were misaligned previously, this is absolutely not the case. They're phenomenal.
Yeah. Can you look back on that job now and go, "Right, I understand that happened for me, it was just setting me up for something better."
100%. I learnt so much. And I've often said, you learn more from a shitty boss than you do from a really good one
Yeah.
because you have so many different examples of how you are not going to lead.
Yeah.
And communicate or prioritize or demonstrate your value or your values. And 100%, I
Yeah.
was there for many, many reasons. Some of it is the beautiful friends I've made, like Vanessa. Um, but it was the experiences as well. I've learned,
Mm.
I've grown, I've seen so much. So as much as I think at the time leaving, I was like, get me the hell away from here, like firebomb the whole joint. Um, which I definitely wouldn't. That would be really naughty. But it's, once you move through and process all those emotions, you can see that and you can, it's like in the release process where you put your perpetrator in a like emotionally intelligent position. It's almost like you put your workplace there and go, oh, I see that this has all happened for a reason. It's not just
Yeah.
torture me, which is what I thought at the time.
Yeah, yeah, the stories that we tell ourselves, we find the truth and we see its reason and its season in our life. And it's just that you were evolving and it was time for you to find something else. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go back to the scene part because I say that when you process your emotions, you uncover these layers and then you realize who you really want to be. And I want you to be able to shine in all areas of your life, in your relationship, in your work, in your health, in your friendships, all the people and places that life is gonna take you. And so I love hearing that you actually feel seen in who you really are because I love your bubbly energy. The way you approach challenges just with, open arms. So, yeah, just to be seen, I really feel like that's a lot of people's desire. And again, it just happens when you follow the process.
100%. And do you know what's so funny? You said something on the call this week about in the, you process all your emotions and in that like ugh, phase. When you transition to the next phase, and it is all about is sitting in the energy that you want and being met with what you want and where you need,
Mm.
takes another type of energy. And
Absolutely. Like all the success energy of, well, receiving the
yeah,
promotions, the pay rise, like the what the moments. And so
yeah,
many people could sabotage that.
100%. But I remember speaking to my boss when I got offered this ongoing role, and she goes, "Be prepared because you've been seen now. Like
Mhm.
people can see you, and they know what you're capable of. So do
Yeah.
with that knowledge what you will." And Lordy, that is true, but it's also so beautiful.
Mm. And I think to also just stay grounded because that's when the ego
Mhm.
can get inflated pretty quickly, but to really just make sure you're coming back to your values. What is the vision for your life? Because it can be very easy to get swept away when this momentum picks up and all these opportunities come in. So being really clear with your values, what are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to?
Yeah, absolutely. We're all learning together, aren't we? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I'd love if there's anything else, we can always pop back in, we can mix and match this. But tell us about your beautiful dog, Callie, how Callie came into your life and what she taught you even before release started and now. I know there's some stuff going on too.
Yeah. Alright, she has taught me so much. So Callie's a little rescue puppy. She's a, like, 2 kilo white Maltese. She's a proper geriatric now. I've had her, like, 15 years. I acquired her when I was living in Mount Gambier. It was a time when there was, like, this parvovirus going around. She couldn't go to the pound, so I was like, "Oh, I'll foster her." Uh, a friend had died around the same time. I was pretty upset, and this little bloody cutie pie pops into my life. And I was like, yep, no, boundaries are up. I'm not going to get attached to you because I'm just fostering you till your parents are found. Um, I'm her parent. They never came forward. We have moved a lot. We've seen so many people come into and out of our lives. And I think Callie teaches me so much. First and foremost, it is absolutely unconditional love without a doubt. She also is so attuned. The number of times she would come up and jump on my lap while we're doing like our calls or the grounding exercises, she is so aware. Um, when I was working myself stupid, she started toileting in the bed.
Mm.
And I was really pissed off, so busy, so stressed out, like autoimmune condition level stress. And it's like, what the hell? And I got a doggy Reiki therapist in because I was like, I don't get it. This is like beyond. I can't work 14-hour days, come home, and she's pooped in bed. Like, I
Mm.
can't cope with this. And she's trying to tell me she knows I'm pissed off. She knows I'm getting shitted off. And she's literally doing that right there in the bed to
Yeah.
go, stop it. Stop. If only we could listen. And more recently, she had, what was she doing? She ended up with, she's been diagnosed with a kidney disease, pretty late stage.
You were
Um,
doing some releases on her as well, weren't you?
100% because I was getting so pissed off. She was peeing all through the house. I was like, "Ooh." Like the last thing in the world I want to be doing is cleaning up
Mm.
doggy wee wee everywhere. And yeah, poor little Bobby was unwell. I was not processing and not listening to her signs. And once I stopped and was like, oh, you've got kidney disease. Okay, this makes sense. There's no way you could have gone outside because that was coupled with a UTI. Like, you are 15, 16 years old. Of course, you wake up and you're like, holy crap, I need to pee right now.
Mm. And did you find that the release process just actually helped you with communication so you didn't necessarily need to use someone external?
100%. And once I processed that, I could actually sit with her and go, oh my God, my poor little baby. You've been trying to tell me all along, and I'm not listening.
Mm.
All I'm doing is reacting to
Yeah.
the pee on the floor, not what I needed to hear from that.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
pretty much would change or you're able to come up with a solution
Yeah.
rather than expecting things to go back the old way because she's evolving, she's growing, she's changing as well.
Yeah. 100%. And it's so funny. Last night I was outside tying up my tomatoes
Mhm.
and I was getting absolutely hammered by mosquitoes. And I was like, ah, if I was Callie, I like my ankles were getting attacked. Callie is ankle height. Like, I wouldn't go outside either. Like,
Yeah.
I get why you're peeing on the pavers and not in the garden because it's full of mozzies. I get it now. I can see this.
It
And
honestly just seems like so silly that we would talk to them in this way, but it's a way to just get some insight. And, it's not always like deep, dark, traumatic stuff that you process on. It's like, right, what's the solution here if I just stop and become more present to what's going on around me?
yeah, like just recently, the weeing inside has been a thing again. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, you know what? It is. It's all of this. It's super windy outside, and I hate being outside when it's windy. All my hair flies everywhere. Like, she's a floofy little cutie pie. She can't tie her hair out of her eyes. Like, I don't blame her. So now we've got like a little pee pad and a fake lawn situation in the laundry, and
Mm,
we're working through that. So it's
yeah,
like, how wonderful to have the space to sit, listen, and go, ah,
yeah,
like the ah moments, the penny drops, and you go, ah,
yeah. So simple, so simple.
yeah.
Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention has just come up again. I feel like every round of release, someone has a little carb bingle. And I remember you had this as a challenge that happens in the moment. It's like, okay, new stuff is going to happen as well. You just need to process on it. But there were some things that didn't. Initially, it looked like, oh, this is a bit of a crappy situation. But
Yeah.
then, can you talk us through that experience?
Yeah, completely forgot about that, but how funny. So yeah, I got rear-ended at a traffic light. So I was stationary at the traffic light and, middle of the day, bright, sunny kind of day. Um, this guy just boom in the back of me. And I was on the phone, hands free, because I'm a law-abiding citizen in that way. And I was like, "Oh my god, Ange, I think someone just rear-ended me." And she goes, "What do you mean you think?" And I was like, "Well," it was like a little noise, but it didn't feel like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywho, I look in the rearview mirror and he's all like, ugh. So I'm like, "Oh shit, gotta go." And look, I got out the car with this like, "What the frick?" energy, like, it's a red traffic light. It's the straight road. What on earth? And this poor guy is, between jobs, had just been to a job interview, so it's, like, in this, like, frazzled energy, and I was like, "Oh, you poor bastard, how stressful." So, we did the switch the details business. He had said, "Oh, your car's fine," and I looked, I was like, Moira is not fine." Her name's Moira. Um she's, she's got this little dent thing here. There's this crack there. What's happening with this? What's that? And so we did the details, and he goes, "Yep, yep, yep. I'm going straight to RAA, and I'll do whatever the thing is there." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You go and do that." So I continued on my day, registered like the incident with my insurer, gave them all of his details, and then we went through this whole process. And because I was not at fault, there's this thing in the insurance world where I'm entitled to a loan vehicle. If I was to arrange that through my insurer, it'd be a pen in the butt. To have it met through his insurance, so much easier. Lo and behold, this whole thing goes through the process and he hadn't filed his end of the claim. I was like, "What the hell? I thought he had to." I learned that he doesn't have to if he's not intending to claim. And I was like, "Oh, if
And
he's
I
been on
remember
it."
you came in and you were, like, venting, and it's like,
Mhm.
"Well, I could sit here and I could listen to this, but Louise, you've gotta do a release, and this is who and what you can do releases on." And
Yeah.
thankfully, you're like, "Okay," 'cause it's like,
Mhm.
"Well, where is this complaining gonna go?"
Yeah, exactly. So I did the release on him. I was like, "I need you to file the paperwork. Like, I'm so annoyed. I need you to do that so I can get the nice and easy hire car rather than the hire car where I've got to drop my car here and go pick up a car from there and then whatever." And yeah, I did the release. No expectation, I think, because I was like, "Right, let's start organizing this other annoying loan car business. Like, let's get that done." And then boom, he just did it.
We did the paperwork. Did you have to
Yeah.
prompt him? Did you have to have a conversation with him?
I texted him and was like, "Oh, hey, remember me? You hit me. Can you please do the paperwork?" And he ignored it. I tried to call him, he ignored it. And I think it ended up being the loan car company who's affiliated with Crash Repairer. I don't know what they did, but whatever they did worked. So
Yeah. Well, I love that. Again, just release,
it
and
worked.
sometimes we do need to take the action, but it's like, okay, well, maybe he didn't intend to file his side of it. But yeah, look at that. And it just unfolded in front of everyone in release. So just like
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah. How
So this
funny.
is
And
where we can apply it as well.
yeah, and so good that it was just such a minor little thing. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I often say, like, Callie and your dog, what was happening there, and then this car accident, is that sometimes when our cars are affected metaphysically, it's like this feeling of losing control of your
Mhm.
life. So, what does this represent for you? But again, what can we release and find out the message so that this doesn't affect us moving forwards? And to look at things happening externally before they affect us internally with physical ill health or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. It's as I got out the car, I was like, "What? Guess who's gonna get a release later?"
Yeah, and that's the great thing, you didn't lose it in the moment. You were able to have compassion that this guy's between job interviews, that he's frazzled. Let's just
Yeah.
have a conversation around this, so well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any other, major challenges that releasing has helped you with or just the general support? I guess you're in my ongoing stuff where we've anchored more into the vision, the desire statements, the goals. Did you wanna speak to anything else?
Yeah, I think again, it's this expectation piece for me. So, we've worked through the goal setting, the vision, and what I've found is that I guess my goals and my timeline, my expectations associated with the timeline and the rate of which things will happen is not the same as my partner's. And I think until recently, I've held this like complete and utter frustration that why aren't we doing this together? Why aren't we doing that? Why hasn't this happened? And it is that negotiation piece and that like just because you say what you want doesn't mean you're going to get exactly that. And I think release, one of the biggest things is the never in my wildest dreams sort of learning. Just because you think you want that doesn't mean that's what it's meant to be or how it's meant to go or in exactly that framing.
And you can actually get something better. So I say to people, let go of your
Yeah.
expectations, just have an intention and
Hmm.
create space for something beyond what you think possible to actually land. So often we're just logically trying to work out how we're going to get the loan car and how we're going to, climb the career ladder or how we're going to get the house and so on. It's like just start with the desire, hold the details, do the foundational work so you create space for it to land into your life.
100%. When you are fixated on something or an outcome, you are so closed off energetically to anything else that might come because you're energetically like, no, 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 no. But what if that's better?
Yeah, and so what is your vision? What parts of your vision would you like to share?
Yeah. So the vision is for me is probably the dream home. Like, and it's the space and it's the time and it's the lifestyle. It's, you know, walking distance to a beach to be able to walk Callie down there. It's being able to hear the birds. I mean, I do have plenty of them here now. There's a fig tree, so but yeah, it's that. That's I guess my vision. That's the next thing for me.
So
Continue.
do you know what it looks like, what it feels like to walk into your dream home?
Yeah, yeah. So it's single story. It's like 3 bed, 2 bath. There's a wee little plunge pool. There's a nice little lawn area for Callie. It's open plan. It's natural, neutral type things. It's, your timbers. It's the stone. It's that soothing, calming, at peace palette is probably
Mhm.
what I'd call it. It's bright, big windows with natural light coming in, not necessarily, uh, is it west facing? So it's like, I'm so bad at directions. Don't
No, same
knife
here.
me. But it's
I'm like, "West, okay."
like, where's the sun help? Um, but yeah, you know, a home that is smart, it's well insulated, it's oriented properly to catch the nice, beautiful morning rays. There's a nice little sitting area for my coffee in the morning, outside in amongst it, beautiful leafy trees. Not a massive block. I don't want to be maintaining all of that. But
I
yeah,
love it. I love that you have actually played with this, and I say it's one thing to think about or some people don't even let themselves dream or imagine at this level. Then I say, write it down, share it to a group, and now we're giving it voice to the public on the podcast. So who knows
yeah,
what is going to happen? And I just really believe in that getting used to hearing the sound of your own voice through releasing. Like, let go of that energy, that vibration frequency of the negativity that you hold on to, but now give voice, celebration, vibration, and frequency to the things that you actually desire. Speak it out loud, and you never know who wants to help you make it happen. So, thank you for sharing this. I wonder, are you usually someone who dreams and goes into, yeah, those kind of visions?
Do you know what's so funny? I had a dream about this house. Like, I was looking for so long for a home to buy. Had a partner at the time
Oh, your
who
house right now, you actually had a dream about it?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, wild. Um, like, I'd gone through a separation. During that time, I'd been looking for a home for us to live in, just didn't work out. Can't imagine why.
yeah.
Mm. Thank God it didn't. Um, then I think, what, within 6 months, I found this house. It was like, oh, was it a little bit more than I wanted to spend? But I was like, "Oh, golly, do I want it? Do I not?" That night, I had a dream. I was walking down my hallway. This metal tub that mum and dad have was filled with ice. My drink of the time was Coronas, and I was hosting some sort of event. I was like, "Just grab a beer on your way through," in my dream. Like, what on earth? I was like, woke up, that's it. An offer's going in on this house. I don't
Oh,
care if it's 10 grand more than I want to spend. I need this house.
and it's all worked out.
Yeah,
So cool.
wild.
I love that.
Really good.
This might be a big question to ask you because sometimes it's in following that desire, even though it doesn't make sense and you might pay more, that especially with property, it pays off many, many years down the track. So do you think you're going to keep this house or do you think you're going to sell it?
Yeah, so this house I will keep. Um, we've done the masculine, gone to a financial planner with my partner, and this house I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna rent it out. We are potentially gonna live here together. He may rent his house out, and we'll buy the dream home together. And
Oh,
there's all sorts of, like, financially sensible ways to go about that, which we're well informed of. But buying this house, I never wanted, well, I had been looking for these houses that suited myself and the partner at the time. And this is the complete opposite of that. Smaller
mm.
block, easy to maintain, super rentable. And yeah, it's amazing. It's phenomenal. Like, I often have conversations with my dad, like, thank God I bought this house and not the 1920s, like, gentleman's bungalow that I thought I wanted, which you'd
Yeah.
be working on every single day.
I think this also represents the importance of having your own vision within a relationship because quite often people ask me, well, don't we need to bring our partner in on this? I'm like, well, you could get your partner to do their vision, but do it separately and then come together and see if you're willing to support that vision.
Yeah, 100%. After we had seen this financial planner, he was like, "Get clear on what you want and
Mm,
start looking." And we both sort of, like, wrote down what our dreams were in terms of what this house would look like, and it's the same house. Like, I probably am more, um I say that he's allergic to the outdoors, because he's more of an indoor type of person. I'm like, "And there needs to be this little courtyard, and there needs to be trees because I need to sit
yeah,
out
so you
there for my
complement each
coffee."
other. So you
Yeah.
design the outside, he does the inside, maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
How good.
I love that. So, what changes are you implementing in your life moving forwards?
Such a good question.
And
Uh,
they're probably stuff that you've already done, but what's changed for
yeah.
you from, 8 months ago or so?
Yeah, I scream a heck of a lot more. Um,
That's part of the release process.
yeah, exactly. Oh, out of frustration. Um, what's changed for me, I think, is listening, valuing myself, saying no, like, having that time for myself. The biggest thing is communicating without expectation and listening.
Mm,
And I am so grateful that you're able to shine a light and hold space where that's needed, because sometimes you're just so blind to these things in your own life. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think they're the main ones. I think it's also like being accountable to myself for commitments I make to myself. Like,
Mhm.
ugh, every year I'm going to do this fitness test and you got to do like 45 sit ups, and it's like a horrific experience because I don't do sit ups in
Oh,
my
you have to do the fitness oh, with the
with the wrap stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And I'm always like, before I go to do it because I don't exercise it, I don't practice it. I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, practice it, do it. So every week now I am doing 45 sit ups.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice one. To make it
Yeah.
easier so you don't dread this every year, year after year. What's the pattern that needs to be broken? I
Yeah.
love all the things that you've just naturally implemented. And again, I could tell people the pathway, but it's just start with processing your emotions, let the magic start to land, recognize what you are doing and who you are being, and continue it. Maybe not as intensively, but there is another pathway that will open up, another step, another process to actually be able to implement. So you've said it so perfectly, and I love that during release you had the capacity to actually change the way you communicated. You didn't throw in the towel when the first conversation with your partner didn't go down too well. I was like, Louise, you're still not listening. You shouldn't have butted in here. Or you had really great recall to be able to type up what happened. And for me, it was a real pleasure, and it is still is a real pleasure working with you because I know that I can just say it
Mhm.
as it is to you. I can be completely blunt as to what I can see, and I don't have to worry that you're going to get offended, that you will actually take responsibility and you'll just give it a go. You don't get in the way.
Yeah, 100%. I think you go through life and you see enough patterns in your life to go, nah, something else needs to happen. Yeah. And look, from discomfort, you grow.
Mm,
So sit in it, go, what am I doing? And process, listen, just, yeah, never in your wildest dreams would you ever realize or think or dream that something so wonderful would come from just processing your emotions.
yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story. Maybe you've already said it, but just a clear question. If anyone is thinking about release or you've got hesitations, what would you say to them?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like make the mental and emotional commitment. Whatever you perceive as a block or a barrier, it'll get worked out. Like, just know that what you could possibly learn and how much you could grow far outweighs any concerns or hesitation that you may have. So, yeah, just do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much again, Louise. And if anyone is interested in Release, it's my signature program. It comes with an element of live support. This is where Louise started. You will see it, and it talks a lot about chronic illness, pain, complex health issues. But I totally invite people like Louise to come on board if it still resonates with you and you feel like something could open up in your life if you were to process your emotions. And yeah, I'm going to be showcasing more stories like this. There might be a part two with you when you get your dream home, walking distance to the beach, and your trip to Europe and more career evolution. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'll pop those details in the show notes. And I'm just very grateful for Vanessa, who I've known for a long time, sharing my book with you, Healing Beyond the Diagnosis, and also, yeah, asking you to come on board Release. So you ladies actually sit in Release and my other groups together. It's so very cool.
So beautiful. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you so much, Jen.
Thanks, Louise.
Life changing.